Did you know there's a Pathfinder 2nd Edition mod for Baldur's Gate 3? And should you get hyped for it? Or should you temper your expectations? Hey everyone, Utkarsh from Spirit Bell Games here. This past week, I was a little under the weather, caught a bit of a cold, still recovering, but I took that opportunity to reinstall Baldur's Gate 3 and try out this Pathfinder 2e mod that I had heard about. I installed it, I jumped into the game, started a new playthrough, and I am just loving playing this game in Pathfinder 2e system because of all of the things I've talked about so far on this channel, the 3-action turn, the different tensions of design, a relative sense of balance across classes, and build diversity. But there are limitations. This isn't a system, this isn't a video game engine built from scratch for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. It is a video game engine that is slowly being converted to enable Pathfinder 2nd Edition play. And as a result, there are lots of options that are available in offline play that are not available in the Pathfinder 2e mod. There are also variances there because the team is small, and big shout out to Instant Mirage and the rest of the team working on this mod, because so far they've done an excellent job over the past 2 years making this conversion. And right now I know that there are bugs, I know there are bugs reported, but right now I haven't encountered anything major that I can point to. So great job to the team. But even so, it's a small handful of people versus how many ever developers that Larian Studio has that are trying to get the best they can out of an existing engine. So there are going to be compromises made. That to me is inevitable, but to you may not be. And so I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about hype and expectations when encountering a new system, because there are things that I say to 5th edition players or players of other games like Pathfinder 1st edition or D&D 3rd edition players who come to Pathfinder 2e. And a lot of those things, those expectation management advice that I give to them also applies to you who may be installing that mod for the first time and trying out this game. In one of my previous videos, I compared TTRPG systems to restaurants. And I said that when you go to the restaurant, you have to answer 2 questions to figure out what it is you are ordering. One is, what do you want? And the other is, what do they have? And that second question is always going to be a limiter on what it is that you can actually order. The first question is just a way to help you navigate that second question. And so similarly, some of you may want to install the mod with all of the hype that, oh, you will be able to play a Magus that has a Chrono Skimmer free archetype attached to it and potentially has other variant rules that you can enable. And then you jump into the mod and discover that there is no Magus class in the core mod, that free archetyping is not enabled, that many of the rarer options are just non-existent, and then you suffer disappointment. So how should you approach character building in new systems? Well, in one of his videos, Matt Colville, talking about Draw Steel, I believe this was during the playtest, said that before coming up with the character concept, look through what we have, look through the classes that are available, and then try and develop your character concept. At least I seem to remember that that's what he said. Now when I pull up my Draw Steel Heroes Guide, I see that it also says, hey, what's your character concept? Let's come up with the concept first. But I like the approach that Matt Colville said in the video, as far as I'm remembering it, more so than what every other RPG, including Pathfinder, says, which is to come up with the character concept first. I think you should first look at what's on the menu and then start thinking about what it is you want. If I'm being perfectly honest, I think this is life advice. Whether you're starting a new job, getting into a new relationship, moving to a new city, you can build up a lot of hype and imagination of what kind of experiences you're going to get. But I strongly recommend tempering those expectations and not indulging them a lot until you see what's being offered, until you understand what it is you can actually expect. Okay, that is the core message of this video, but I'll quickly go over some of the differences between the mod and the paper and pencil version of the game. Maybe I should just say Foundry VTT version of the game. And then in the Patreon Extended Edition, I will talk about design implications that arise from some of these differences. But for the most part, apart from the fact that you have a smaller selection to choose from, I think all of the mechanical changes will be liked by the players, because most of them make the game easier, let's just say. Things cost fewer actions, some places there are fewer restrictions. If you can just wrap your head around the fact that there are fewer options and there may still be a few bugs that you encounter, I think you'll have a great time if you already enjoy playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Okay, so a few of the differences. It looks like using items just costs 1 action. I'll have to look into this a little bit more, but for now it does seem like there's no drawing action. Everything is just available to you, whatever's available to you in your quick access menu. It's kind of like a ultimate retrieval belt. You just pick it up and throw as 1 action. Spell casting for prepared casters is fixed into the flexible casting archetype, but you don't need the archetype dedication. You're not penalized for spell slots. You just get massive benefits for being a prepared caster. Prepared casters, I would go so far as to say, are just straight up better than spontaneous casters in this version, which is fairly similar to how it is in 5th edition, only more so because all prepared casters also seem to have the spell substitution thesis. This is something that makes playing prepared casters just a lot easier. I have design thoughts on this that, again, I'll talk about in more detail in the Patreon Extended Edition. When player characters are adjacent in initiative, they can combine their actions in any order that they like, which I think is excellent. This is a proposal I made in my heroic variant document when I talked about heroic combos. Let PCs interweave their actions. One person goes first, the other person does a 2-action activity, then that first person does like their other 2 actions. Let them talk it out and combine it as they like. In a multiplayer scenario, this can increase the playtime, slow down pacing, but in a single player scenario, this is just tactics at its best, because you can move one person over, bring your other PC to flank, and then both of them can make their strikes, and some of them can even step away. It's great. Love it. 10 out of 10. And there's the fact that anyone can cast spells, even though for people who don't have a spellcasting DC, it uses like an untrained DC for things that require DCs. Then we have the fact that tripping, shoving, and disarming does not require you to have an empty hand. You could have weapons in both hands and still do those things. All right. Swapping between a particular melee preset and a particular ranged preset is free. Big one is that it uses proficiency without level due to the sandbox nature of the game. So your level is not added to anything, not your attacks, not your defense, not for the enemies either. Another big thing is that enemy information is available without doing recall knowledge checks. Yeah, there are no recall knowledge checks. You just right click the enemy when you're in combat with them and you can pull up all their stats. Oh, infinite short rests. Forgot about that. It has story implications. For those of you who know, you know. But yes, you can just click the short rest button, everyone heals up to full, and you regain all your focus points. It's an interesting way to speedrun the game. So those are some of the changes currently in the mod, and I strongly recommend the mod. If you already own Baldur's Gate 3, you're doing yourself a disservice by not trying it out. It's in a stable enough state right now that I think everyone who likes Pathfinder 2e should just give it a shot. You can use it to introduce your friends to Pathfinder 2nd Edition, though of course they may get used to some of the conveniences that the game provides. Kudos again to Instant Mirage and the rest of the team, which is 4 people total, working on this mod to convert one of the greatest CRPGs of all times to one of, dare I say it, the greatest tactical combat TTRPGs of all times. Thank you so much for your work. You've made it so easy. You've fulfilled so many people's desire to see this system in a AAA fully voice acted game. So amazing work, and good luck for quashing the bugs ahead and adding new features and classes. Now, for those of you who want more Pathfinder 2nd Edition in a video gaming format, CRPG format, there are two other projects that are in development that you should be aware of. One, which is Dragon's Demand, was kickstarted earlier this year, I believe. And the other one, which is Afterlight, which is a Starfinder 2e game, is currently in Kickstarter. So I'll provide the link down below. Please check it out and support it. Let's show that this system is such a good match for the CRPG format that we can encourage more developers to put out more content for the Pathfinder 2e and Starfinder 2e systems. For now, this is me signing off, wishing you all engaging games.